Welcome to ScoreForge, your free tool to help you quickly create exciting scores, otherwise known as missions, for the game Blades in the Dark. What happens is on the left-hand side, you're presented with a series of options for content and random tables for the different components that'll help you build a score. You select the ones you want, you ignore the ones that you're not interested in. Then when you're all done, the summary screen will put together all the things that you've listed all in one place, and then you can export it in a variety of formats so that you'll have a handy dandy score sheet to help you run your next adventure with your crew. So let's say we have a crew that are a group of smugglers based in the docks, and that they want to do something bold and daring. And so they've asked you to come up with something for them. So let's go in here and say district, and let's just keep it in the docks for now. And now you can see all the options for the docks have populated for us. If we have played a lot in the docks, and we probably don't need to have the lore reminded to us, but if this is one of the first times you played here, you might click include in summary to have this information content included in the summary sheet so that you can quickly reference it later. And here's a set of devil's bargains that are specific to this district. The goals, we already know that the crew wants to get acclaim, so I'm going to put that there to remind me. Countdown clocks are a clock that tracks something that is driving the action forward, that if the crew doesn't complete the score by the time this clock fills, something bad will happen. There are 6 categories of bad things that can happen, and then 6 specific examples of what those bad things look like. In our case, I'm just going to select one by hand. I'm going to scroll down and say that the objective is lost because the rival gets there first, because they're supposed to smuggle a particular important thing to a particular place, and they do it before someone else does to excite their patron that will then prove that they should get this new claim. All right, now let's take a look at leaders. Leaders are just another way of saying who's involved in this score. And you can select as many or as few as you want. I'm just going to go with one, and I'm going to let the game decide for me. I'm going to let it roll randomly. I click the roll button, and it selected option 6-4. So down here, row 6, column 4, it's Suth from the Hive. We've got a nice description of them, but if I don't like that option, I can go ahead and hit reroll, and it will replace whatever my last rolled option was with someone else. So it says Sylvette, a harbor inspector. Okay, I like that. Let's keep them. Now, contact screen is listing people that are not leaders, but that are interesting and important NPCs located in the district. I don't think I need any of them, but it's great to have them. And then there are factions. These are factions that are specific to this district. And if you want to make sure that they're involved, then you can click some here or just come back as a quick reference. I'm going to go ahead and say I want to have 2 involved. So I'm going to hit the roll button twice. And you see we've got the barge rights and riggers, and we've got the red sashes because they've been expanding into the docks. If I don't like one of those, I can unclick it and pick a different one, like, say, the Dockers Union. Twists are ways to alter your other options. So if you want to we might go with deception. So we tell the crew's initial information is that the barge rights are involved and the Dockers Union are involved. And they're both opposed to the crew, but it might turn out that they are not opposed to the crew, that they're secretly working for someone else, or vice versa. So twists are just an optional thing you can add to do something different to one or more of the options you've already selected. And then some of the districts have dedicated settings. A setting is a specific area inside of the district that has its own set of locations, obstacles, and loot that are all specific to that setting. So let's go ahead and pick Widow's Wake, which is the Strangford Leviathan Hunter, right? This is an exciting location. And once you click a setting, it appears over here. You can have multiple settings if you like. Though generally, your crew is probably going to be sticking inside of one setting. And here you can see we have locations, obstacles, and loot. We can click as many or as few of these as we like. I'm going to say, hey, they've got to get something special into the captain's quarters, right? Or maybe the quartermaster's arsenal. Excellent. That they got to get something in there. Along the way, some other places they might bump into would be the engine rooms, the Iker pumps, maybe the bridge, and they got to get onto the gosh darn boat. So maybe they're going to have to deal with the harpoon deck. And now I've got 5 interesting, very evocative locations that they could be moving through, and a whole bunch of different kinds of obstacles. Again, I'm just going to roll up a few here and see what shows up and see what I like and don't like. And I can deselect and reselect other ones as needed. Likewise, I can grab a couple items of loot and then come down to the summary tab, and lo and behold, I give this score a name, getting onto the Widow's Wake, whatever notes I need. And then here are all the options that we've selected condensed into one easy place. And then there's our export buttons. So that's it. And you can come down here to hit this button to reset it. Anytime you refresh the page, it will start afresh. The app does not save your progress. So the only way to save your progress is to export your summary screen once it's done. You can take advantage of the next and previous buttons to move around. And you also have some editing options. Over here, there's an option to download all of the tables that are at the back end. They're all markdown CSV tables that populate all the screens that you see here. So that'll give you an idea of how they're made. If you are excited about creating your own content and adding them here, that'll show you what the formatting looks like. There's been attempts made to make this app blind accessible. And so we would really love to get your feedback on what is and isn't working on that. So thank you kindly for checking out the product, and I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback.